Hello, Professor. This is Maureen Lincoln. My midterm project examines bike share programs and helmet use, together with bicycle crash statistics. I'm looking to determine if an opportunity exists for a novel bicycle helmet, Metro helmet, that I may develop through my company, Kerelaw Engineering. I think it's a great idea, but there's significant development requirement, and I need to be confident in the commercialization opportunity before I begin. Bicycle sales and ridership have both increased over the last decades. Since 2006, there have been between 10 and 12 million bicycles sold each year. And bicycling ridership has more than tripled since 1977. It makes sense to assume that the market for bicycle accessories such as helmets is growing as well. Metro helmet is perfect for any bicycling scenario, urban, rural, recreational, commuter, but the concept is specifically geared for use with bike share programs. Bike share is a self-service program that enables riders to use a bicycle for a short period of time. The majority of bike share programs are driven by a specific municipality, such as the City Bike program in New York City, while a lesser number of programs are administered by colleges or universities. For this analysis, only municipality programs are considered. To better drill down and understand the unique opportunity for Metro Helmet, I've created dashboards to look at the current state of bike share programs, including rider demographics, information on the use of bicycle helmets, and bicycle crash statistics that detail both fatalities and injuries. In the end, I think there's enough information to determine whether or not to pursue the Metro Helmet project. Using data from many different sources, I created a pivot table to capture the key careabouts. These are the year, name, management company, city, state, population, to determine whether or not these areas are urban or rural, the number of bicycles in each program, the website, etc. From the pivot table, I created this dashboard showing data related to specific bike share programs. The first program started in 2007, the Tulsa Tonys, with 75 free-to-ride bicycles, but it was only after 2010 that the concept of bike sharing started to develop traction. Since then, the number of bike share programs has increased steadily. Today, there are over 45 municipality programs and over 30,000 bicycles available nationwide. If the trend continues at this current rate, that means approximately 67 municipal programs and 47,000 bicycles by 2020. I also created a Bing map with a timetable to graphically show how this growth has developed. I like this presentation method because it quickly shows me the areas to focus on from the marketing side and helps me to communicate the same to an audience while keeping their interest with a little extra wow factor. I added a category, shown here as Layer 1, to show which programs require helmets and which do not. Similar to the last dashboard we look at, you can see that most programs do not require a helmet. What's nice about this map is that it shows me very easily where the highest growth of bike share programs are, and that's in this northeast mid-Atlantic region with specifically Boston, New York, and Washington. So I'm going to look at those areas as I talk next about helmet use. So bicycling has many wonderful benefits, both physically and environmentally, but there are also risks. The use of a helmet is strongly encouraged as a means to prevent head injury and death. This is driven by statistics such as 70% of cyclist fatalities are due to head trauma. I created an infographic here using the people graph function to show some other fast facts. So 69.9% of folks that use their private bicycle also use a helmet, while only 25.8% of people using a bike share bike use a helmet. And very strong statistics here that 97% of people that die in a bicycling accident are not wearing a helmet. So it just seems to make, reinforce that helmets are a good idea. So when we look at these three bike sharing programs, Washington, New York, and Boston, we can look at what the compliance numbers are and what initiatives these programs use to encourage additional compliance. With Washington, there's about 16% helmet compliance, so about 16% of the riders use a helmet. Washington provides a discount coupon, so you can buy a helmet at a discount from local bike shops. New York has an additional incentive. They have bike shop rentals, and some bike shops are actually right on the bike paths, but the compliance here in New York is only about 15%. Boston has an additional incentive, which is a mandatory helmet requirement. You actually have to sign a paper that you're going to wear a helmet, but even with that additional requirement, helmet compliance is only 20%, significantly less than compliance with private bicyclists. So as I gathered my research, I read many articles and reports that promoted bike share as a safer mode of cycling over private ownership for several reasons. These include safety in numbers, dedicated bike lanes, slower speed, etc. And the argument continues, no bike share rider had died in a bike share incident. Sadly, that fact is no longer true. In July 2016, a young woman was killed while riding a Divvy bicycle. Divvy is Chicago's bike share program. Though she was wearing a helmet, she died due to head trauma. So in summary, though helmets are promoted to prevent head injuries and related fatalities for cyclists, mandatory helmet use is limited or non-existent for the majority of bike share programs. Even when programs have mandatory requirements, compliance is low. That leads me to two questions. Is helmet compliance a valid concern, and how concerning is it? So though helmets seem to be a good idea, helmet use is somewhat controversial. Both sides of the argument have compelling statistics to support their position. Many of these arguments are based on random sampling and causality. For my analysis, I decided to use a different approach along the lines of big data. Rather than look for a causal relationship, I took National Highway Traffic Safety Administration (NHTSA) data on cyclist injuries and fatalities from 2010 to present and city bike user data. To best understand the demographic of the at-risk cyclist, I extracted data from the annual NHTSA report and created a pivot table. The shaded area shown is specific to these reports. These reports track the number of cyclist incidents, both injuries and fatalities, by location, pedal cyclist age and gender, time of day, etc. I use this information to collect the number of fatalities and injuries by year, gender, and age. I took a slightly different approach with the city bike data. The amount of data and level of detail available is incredible. For each ride, the system records time, trip duration, pickup and drop off, gender, birth year, etc. There's thousands of records for each day. Although there is some messiness in the data, I believe there's enough accurate data to paint a good picture of the users based on gender and age. What I see from this analysis is that the NHTSA at-risk group for fatality and injury, which is males and females both in the age 55 to 59 category, is only a small portion of the city bike riders. There does not appear to be a strong correlation between these at-risk demographics and the typical city bike user. So here this blue is the typical city bike user. Here this gray is the, these are males. This is the male fatality numbers. It's very similar with the women. The pink is the women city bike users, and the yellow is the fatalities. So with the increase in bike share programs and benefits of helmet use that we looked at, does it make sense to continue to work on the Metro Helmet project? And I don't think so. I'm going to say no. Providing a better helmet, increasing helmet accessibility, and or enacting strong helmet legislation would only reach a portion of the bike share population as demonstrated by the helmet use dashboard, and would miss the key at-risk demographic defined here in this dashboard. In order for Metro Helmet to be successful, there needs to be a very, very compelling story to fully engage the decision makers at bike share programs. They need to be convinced to purchase and promote the product. The story must be compelling enough to overcome the recognized reluctance of these programs to introduce and enforce helmets. The analysis here does not create or support this necessary and compelling story, and so Metro Helmet will be bookshelved